Hey guys, really quick, I just want to thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you guys watching my content, and I'm going to link below as much as I can. I will have a bunch of Kizers towards the end of this video, and I'm going to link them below. So, also, shout out to MOJAVE Outdoors. They have been a massive supporter of Neeves knives. They didn't supply this knife. I did pay for this one, but MOJAVE Outdoors has been such a huge supporter, and Kizer is killing it this year with their knives. They have so many amazing knives. So if you're in the market for a Kizer, check out MOJAVE Outdoors. You can get great discounts. Let's get to the video. Bang! Neeves knives. I'm Jared, and today we got the review on the Kizer Lan. Now there's something I want to show about this pivot when we get to the action that I found very unique on a bunch of Kizer models that are extremely smooth, and I'll show that here in just a moment. So first we're going to get into this N690 blade. So I like N690. I think it's a very well-rounded steel. It's, you know, it's got a good toughness to get nice and thin behind the edge for good geometry like this one has. And, you know, it holds a good edge. It sharpens up really easily. I did sharpen this one. We'll get into that here in a moment. But it has a hollow ground, you know, flat section right here, and then a flat grind up here at the tip. So, you know, for a little bit more harder use, you know, maybe picking, maybe some very light duty prying, but just a little bit stronger, you know, for the utility cuts and stuff. But then right here, it gets very thin behind the edge for the slicing. And we'll get into the cutting performance here in a second too. The Ergos, we have this beautiful micarta, frag pattern micarta, because it is milled out. You can see the edges there. So nice texture. It's nice in the hand. It's not too rough, not too soft, just perfect in the hand. The jimping is very well done. I like this kind of jimping. It's like my favorite kind of jimping because it actually adds traction even when it's wet, which is what jimping is for. You know, it's for leverage and for you to get traction, especially under wet conditions. So very neutral grip. I also like that. So it doesn't matter if I go in a reverse grip, if I'm in a saber grip, a hammer grip, it doesn't matter. The grip is great. Do feel the clip a little bit, but it is a deep carry clip. So that's pretty, you know, pretty normal. And it is a reversible clip. We'll get into that too here in a second. But the Ergos are really nice. And if I really want to, I can get right up nice and tight to the blade by covering up the flipper tab. So let's get into the cutting and then we'll get into the action. So man, this thing cuts really, really well. Slicing, it passes through materials so good. I measured this one in the hollow ground section just under 15,000. So it's like 14 thousandths behind the edge, which is amazing. It just screams through everything I throw at it, and it took a very, very sharp edge. We'll get into that in a second, but like I said, this thing cuts extremely well. You have a lot of leverage into the cut. You know, having the neutral grip, you have a nice flat section on the spine of the handle that puts distributes the pressure across your hand, so you can easily push through materials very well, very nicely. Now, the tip of it is a nice strong tip, you know, especially since it is the flat ground section, but it's also acute enough to do good precision cutting. And you have this flat section back here where me personally, with the size of my hand, I can use in my palm to put pressure down into something, but you can also go over the top if your hand's a little smaller, you know, and get this kind of grip. And utility cuts are great. Works great, you know, no problems. It is a drop point blade and a very good looking drop point blade. Like, this is basically a standard drop point blade that you would expect a drop point to look like with a compound grind. So the tip is nice and strong, nice and acute, and works great for utility cuts. Now, the action. Man, this action is good. So it has a very small flipper tab, but you can see it has good jimping on it. Now, for a small flipper, it works really good. Very solid detent, but it's not a strong detent. It is, I don't even want to call it light. I mean, I can fail. Well, I tried to fail it, but you can fail it. But that's me trying. As long as I'm not trying to fail it, this thing shoots out every time, even if I'm lazy flipping it. Now, if I really try to, it's going to hammer out there. You can push button it or light switch it. It kind of likes the light switch just a little bit better. Now, the reverse flick, it does have the groove right here. So this groove, even though you have more access on the thumb side, which you can use it because it has a sharp edge to it. So it does bite your finger just a little bit, but you can slide off of it. But if you put pressure, it'll fly. Now the reverse flick, it's a little tighter in there, but I can also easily still do that. You use the meat of your finger, not use just the pad of your finger, not the nail. The nail doesn't really work, but if you just smash your finger right there in that groove, it will fly out. And like I said, the detent is a little light, but you kind of want that so that you can get the reverse flick. But in my opinion, man, it's still very, very good. Well tuned. No complaints on the action. Now, let me get into this bearing system because it does have ceramic bearings with a ceramic detent. And the detent is great. Like I said, I say it's light only because you can reverse flick off of it. But like I said, the action from the flipper tab is great. But look at this little groove in here. Do you see inside there those two little notches? Let me get another knife so I can point this out. That little notch right there and right here, right at the tip. There's two little notches. If you look at that, I'm going to show you a knife that does not have it. That's also a Kizer. If we look at the Kizer Dukes here, it doesn't have that. See how this one has it and this one doesn't. Those little notches right on the side. Now, I have found that all the Kizers that are as smooth as this one, this thing is complete fall shut action. I mean, it's a guillotine. It really is. There's no stopping it. It just falls shut. And like if I really want to, I mean, I can just sit here and just, if I get my finger out of the way. And right now it's a little dirty. So like if I cleaned it out, it would be even faster. Anyways, access to the lock bar is really nice, so you can easily get to it, let it hit your finger if you want, and then let it drop. The detent is nice and early, so you're pretty much always past it if you let it hit your finger, but you can also hold it low and just let it fall. But those little notches, I don't know what they are, but I do know that all the knives that have these little notches right there seem to be extremely smooth. So I've seen it on a few of their models, and it's I'm not saying that they don't have models that aren't also very smooth that don't have it, because they do, but the ones with these notches seem to be just incredibly smooth, kind of like the Kizer beg lighters. See, they have it. The big beg lighter, it has it. Just ridiculously smooth. The Infinity, it has it. You see the notches right there? Now, like I said, they don't all have them, but it seems like the ones that are ridiculously smooth, I mean, and I mean that in a good way, have that. And this has it. So that's awesome. Oh, I'm going to hit the camera, guys. Sorry, guys. Now, I will link below Mojave Outdoors, and if you guys don't know, Mojave Outdoors has been a huge supporter of the channel. You know, let me just skip that. And even though this thing is so smooth, it's very solid. No play, any direction. Very, very solid. Nice full liners, 2 standoffs, T8 pivot, T6 screws down here. Stop pin is a reasonable size. Nice, good size stop pin. Collared lockup. So very solid lockup. The geometry of the lock face, very good, even when I do it very, very slow. Still locks up extremely solid. Now, the clip works great. It does have flat screws. It's not inset, but it doesn't matter. It works fantastic. And like I said, it is reversible, but in and out of the pocket, it does have the frag pattern, but it hasn't really bothered me. I haven't found really no issues with it. Maybe with your pants you might, but with my jeans it goes in and out just fine. I do feel the frag a little bit, but not no serious way, no complaints. It's fine. Now, going back to the blade, if you look, you can see it has a nice plunge grind. The plunge grind starts here and it ends right there. You can see where it ends. So they did leave you some steel to remove. And sharpening this thing, I sharpen it on my venev diamond stones. And I put it on the stone, started sharpening it, and it felt really good on the stone. The heat treat felt good. The N690 felt good. Sharpened up really quick. Was no problem sharpening it. Then I, started moving through my progressions of my stones, and I got to the polishing stone. Polished up extremely well, and it took a very, very nice mirror edge. You can tell how thin behind the edge it is because the edge bevel is small. And I think this is 17 or 18 degrees per side. So it took a very, very nice edge, and it is very thin. So the heat treat felt good. It felt very solid, and it's been lasting, really good. I've been using it even since I sharpened it, and man, it took a very, very sticky edge. Very sticky edge. Very happy with how sharp it came out. But I know this is only a paper test, but you can see how clean it cuts through the paper. Very, very nice. It is extremely sharp. Even up to the tip. Very nice. So, very happy with the edge and how it sharpened up the steel. Let's get into some negative things. So, not many here, guys. Not very many. One, the T6s. I don't like to see T6s. I'd rather see T8s. Now, it's still a pretty decently strong build, but it is very, very lightweight. This is not going to be a hard use knife, and I will do some size comparisons here in a second because, it's a full size knife still. So I like where they went with this, just being a lightweight EDC knife, straightforward EDC knife. But I still, even though it is a lightweight knife, I still want to see T8s because T6s strip out so easily and they're harder to maintain your knife. It's so much easier when it's just all T8s all the way around. The next thing I could really complain about, because man, there's not much here, man. There's not much to complain about. I would be nitpicking really anything I say from here. There's really no bad. I mean, it's milled out on the inside. It does feel, very, very lightweight. The micarta is really nice. I like the micarta. Man, I honestly can't really find too much to complain about besides T6s. Everything else is pretty solid. I mean, it's a solid knife, a solid price, and the action is insane on this thing. I mean, really anything I complain about is going to be such a nitpick. I don't want to do it because it is that good of a knife. So if I really, really want to complain, I could say it, the lightness kind of makes it feel cheap, but it's not though. It's very solid. So, the liners being silver like this, they're reflective. I'm not a big fan of that. I'd rather see them stone washed or something. Same thing with the clip. These shiny clips cheapen it up a little bit to me, but that they work great. So it's literally nitpicking. So, but all in all, this is a great knife. I do like it a lot. I think it's a very solid build. Let's do just a couple quick size comparisons. Here is the Kizer Begleiter 2. This is number 2, and they are the same length. The Begleiter is just thinner and, just thinner, sleeker. Here's a harder use knife from Kizer, the Kizer Justice, and you can see how much bigger the Justice is just all the way around. It is a beefier knife, more harder use. So if you're looking for a harder use knife, I recommend the Justice. It has very, very good action as well, but it is a beefier blade, beefier knife. And here's a knife that everybody knows, at least I think everybody knows. The Spyderco PM2 is a little bit longer, not by much. They're in the same category of knives. And then a couple more Kizers really quick. Ooh, here's the Kizer horn, another knife that I enjoy very much. A little bit shorter, not by much though. They are relatively in the same size category. And then here is another knife that I have some work to do. I'm going to do an awesome video on this one. I do really like it. This is the Deviant. I'm ordering some stuff to do the copper. But there you guys go. That is the size comparisons. And let me just say, I'm going to link things below. I'll link a bunch of Kizers below. This is an awesome, awesome buy. It really is. If you want to experience some insane action that's about as good as it gets for this price. I don't know if there's anything out there that beats it for this price, but it's awesome. And I'm also going to link MOJAVE Outdoors down there because MOJAVE Outdoors does support the channel massively, and they have all the Kizers, lots of discounts, lots of great stuff down there. So thank you guys for watching. You guys are awesome for watching. Drop a like if you made it this far, or if you like the content. Peace.